Today, we are going to discuss about dengue fever. Dengue fever is a communicable disease which is mainly spread by the bite of Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. So let's see in detail about dengue fever. So dengue fever is a mosquito-borne infectious disease, and in small proportion of cases, the disease can develop into severe dengue, which is known as dengue hemorrhagic fever. So here, this is usually developing because of the bleeding and low platelet count. As a result, the child can end up in dengue shock syndrome, and in dengue shock syndrome, there will be dangerously low BP will develop for the child. And let's see how the disease is transmitted. So the dengue disease is usually transmitted by the female mosquitoes that is known as Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. So here usually the virus have five subtypes. Okay, and if any infection with any particular one virus, which will be giving a lifelong immunity to the child. And during the infection with a particular virus, if the child develop any subsequent infection with the next strain of virus, the chance of complication will be very high. And usually, the incubation period of this disease range between 3 to 14 days, but it is believed that it can develop within 4 to 7 days. So here is a picture that is showing the transmission of the disease. So here the mosquito that is Aedes aegypti female mosquitoes, they are biting a healthy individual. So usually the incubation period is 3 to 14 days, but within 4 to 7 days the person can develop into an infected person. Let's see the pathophysiological changes. So the pathophysiology is divided into different stages. In the first one is the febrile phase. So as the name suggestive of, this phase is mainly characterized by high fever and especially over 40 degrees Celsius. And it is associated with generalized body pain, headache, and this stage may last up to 2 to 7 days. And the clinical manifestations usually seen in this stage is nausea as well as vomiting. And in 50 to 80% of the cases, there will be the development of a skin rash, and this skin rash will be looking like a measles rash. And the rash is described as islands of white in a sea of red. Okay. And apart from that, there will be some petechia will develop, and these all are the small red spots that is usually developing in the skin when the skin is pressed for a long period of time. And this is usually developing because of the broken capillaries uh, over the particular area. And there will be some kind of mild bleeding from the mucous membrane as well as the mouth as the nose. And the fever is itself classically a saddleback fever, and which may return back within 1 to 2 days. Okay. And followed by this phase, there will be the development of the critical phase. So the disease proceeds in the critical phase as the fever start to resolve. And during this period, there will be the leakage of plasma from the blood vessels and which may last to 1 to 2 days. And because of the leakage of plasma from the blood, there will be fluid accumulation in the chest as well as the abdominal cavity. Okay, and this may reduces the blood supply to the major vital organs of the body. And as a result, there will be major organ dysfunctions will take place, usually in the GI tract and all. And dengue shock syndrome as well as the hemorrhage will occur in 5% of all cases with the dengue because of the severe bleeding. So because of the severe bleeding happening in the body party inside the blood vessels, the fluid volume will start to reduce. As a result, there will be hypovolemic shock will develop. And this critical phase, which is very rare, and it can commonly seen among the children as well as the young adults. And next one is the third phase, that is recovery phase. And this is the phase where the resorption of the leaked fluid into the bloodstream will take place, and this phase usually lasts for 3 days. And the improvement is very striking, and it can be accompanied with a severe itching and a slow heart rate. And during this phase, there will be fluid overload will develop because whatever fluid has lost into the tissues, there will be resorption back into the bloodstream. As a result, there will be stage of fluid overload, and this overload can affect the brain, which can be lead to cerebral edema. At the same time, which may alter the level of consciousness of the individual, and a seizure can also develop. And let's see what are the major clinical manifestations. There will be sudden onset of fever, and which is associated with a headache, And the headache is usually the person may say like he may be having the pain behind his eyes. Then apart from that, there will be muscles and joint pains will be there, and hence this is known as, this disease has got an alternative name, that is breakbone fever. Okay, and this breakbone fever which comes from the pain associated with the muscles and joints, and there will be gastritis, abdominal pain will be there, then nausea, vomiting, and signs of dehydration such as sunken eyes, dry mucous membrane, etc. If imagine a pregnant woman is developing this dengue disease, they will be high risk for miscarriage because of the dengue shock syndrome, and this may also lead to low birth weight babies and premature birth. And let's see what are the diagnostic methods. So the diagnosis of dengue is usually made on the basis of the clinical manifestations as well as the reported symptoms like nausea, vomiting, rashes, and generalized pain, muscle pain, joint pain, and low WBC count, etc. And a physical examination is also carried out in order to identify the clinical manifestation. And the diagnosis can be easily made in a person who has a travel history to the a dengue endemic area during the past week. And next is laboratory diagnosis. This has got a greater role in the diagnosis of the dengue. So here, the low WBC count, and which is then followed by a low platelet count and metabolic acidosis will be there. Then if you go for a LFT, the AST and ALT level will be high, elevated, and there will be low platelet count and WBC cells. And in case of severe diseases, there will be plasma leakage, which may result in hemoconcentration as well as hypoalbuminemia. Okay. And USG and chest X-rays are also used to identify fluid accumulation, that is usually pleural effusion as well as ascites. So here USD as well as the chest X-rays are also very helpful. The next is blood investigation. So blood investigations are carried out in order to identify the organism. So here cell culture can be sent for the virus isolation, and polymerase chain reactions are always carried out, and antigen detection tests are carried out for NS1 as well as the NS2 antigens against dengue fever. So here all the tests may be negative in the early stage of the disease. Hence, these examination to be continued in the first week and in the later after 7 days of the infection. And there are IgG, IgM, dengue specific virus antibodies will be present in the blood, and this will give a detailed diagnosis regarding the confirmation of dengue. So both IgG and IgM are produced after 5 to 7 days of the infection. So here now we are finishing the dengue fever, and we'll continue in the next class regarding the management. Okay, thank you.